Hello, and welcome to Get Your Money Shit Together, Day 18, Creating Financial Consistency. The word of the day is consistent. That's what we're looking for from this particular lesson. So you've been doing a lot of the work. You've been going deep. Man, have you crossed some mountains this time during this time together? And congratulate yourself. And really, what you're doing, you've been putting in place the pieces that invite and allow you to have more consistency. And why do we want consistency? What does consistency even mean in our lives? Well, you know the feeling of planning and knowing that everything's going to be okay. And we all do it. Some of us do it a little bit, some of us do it a lot. When it comes to money, I'm actually a planner. I like to know what's coming. I like to look at the money often, imagine where it's going, where it's coming from, how I'm going to interact with it. And then more importantly, I love to look at those numbers and make sure that what's coming up that I expect does meet the expectations that I have for what I'm expecting to spend. And so one of the key ways that I bring consistency into my financial picture is by handling and automating all of these pieces. For example, if you have a steady income, we've been asking you to look at things like your income. And in an upcoming module, you're going to actually say, okay, well, what does this mean when I compare, what am I doing with my basis? But before that, you really just want to practice consistency. And I will tell you that in my life, in almost every area, probably every area, but almost every area, bringing in consistency has been the game changer for me. It's, when I want to shift my body and maybe reduce weight, it's not about doing the right things. I do those most of the time, sort of, kind of anyway. It's doing them consistently through a period of time. And so you might find that some of these behaviors you're looking to implement, it's not so easy to do just, because it just takes that one day when you're stressed and you go to the mall and you spend all your money and all of the months of hard work could be blown. It can be that easy. So what we want to create here is less of a strict program, a strict protocol that you're going to follow and you're going to force yourself into, and you're going to make yourself do and reward yourself when you do it and punish yourself when you don't. And that's not what this is. This is about choosing the behaviors that support you. That's what you've been looking at, is what are these behaviors that support me and what I want to create in my life. And then choosing what really fits, right? So like what fits in my life, like very different than, I want to have these behaviors. I have right now, fitness, my upcoming month is going to be something, and you know how it goes. You get in the energy of something early. And for me, my next month is about fun, fitness, and food. So number one, I've been working really, really hard. I semi-retired and decided to give. And so that's been hard work. So I'm committed when this is complete after the 30 days that I will be focused on doing things that are fun. Now, this has happened to be fun for me, but it also has been a lot of work. The videos are fun. The emails and the worksheets that you get, those are a lot of work. So noticing that where I go into my plan and I disrupt my plan with other things that are not on point, that's one of the ways that I adjust. Now, I really wanted to give this, so I was willing, even when I saw all the work it was going to take in the admin side of things, I was willing to give it because it matters to me. And because this is for me where true consistency comes in. And because once it's created, it's done. I don't have to come back and create it again. When someone has a question now about any of the 30 topics that we're covering, I can say, boom, go to this page. And I can offer that value and wisdom without needing to take my personal time and space. And let me tell you how we got here, because I think how we got here to this course is exactly what's going to help you with your consistency as well. I find that I get involved and excited about lots of projects. Like I love getting involved in a project. I'm a starter. I really like to initiate and start things. Finishing them, I usually need teams for that. So teams help a lot. Having other people on a mission helps me a lot. And I love to do things like this, where, as you know, I'm giving all of this content and all of this value, and I'm driving hard and deep every single day for you for 30 days. But then that is built. So I'm doing it not because I feel like having a busy 30 days. I'm doing it because there are some pieces of how I serve the world that I need to keep intact, even as I move on to other ideas and other opportunities. And so for me, the way to consistently continue to serve and to support in this way, and to take back some of my time. Now, it's taken a lot of my time during these 30 days, but in the long run, it gives me back some of my time, because rather than going through the basics with someone who maybe wants to work with me, I can give them the free resources. They can self-select. They can decide, because one-on-one coaching is not my end game. It is not my goal. It is something that I do sometimes because I meet people who could really change their lives by working with me. And I know this, and this happens all the time, but there are a few factors that I'm looking for. So again, how do I build consistency? Number one, I'm creating all of the content that I want to provide that I don't necessarily want to talk about over and over and over, because this is your basic content. This prepares you to do deeper work with me. It's really not something that, if you don't understand the basics of budgeting, I'm not really here to teach you that anymore. And so, but I can, and I'm good at it. And you know that lesson where I'm asking you to say, what's mine to do? Maybe that was even yesterday. What's mine to do? And I'm realizing that what's mine to do in the world, even though I can provide money education, even though I can change people's financial lives around by spending time with them, it's time for me to move on and into a new level of that, and creating and shifting the energies so that the behaviors are not what we're working on with you, but it's the who am I inside who evokes from you those behaviors. And for me, that's a transition, but it's important to me, a couple of things, that I consistently continue to have a way for people to learn what they need to know to be successful with money. I really don't care about money, you guys. So this is a bit of a reveal on day 18, but I don't really care if you have a lot of money or if you don't have a lot of money, or if you spend it all and whatever. I don't really care about those things. I'll tell you why. Because that's your choice. And why would I get caught up in having emotions about your choices and the choices you are going to make? That's a big lesson, right? That in and of itself, that's a whole can of worms that I'm not going to go into today. But your behaviors are really of no consequence to me. And at the same time, if you are the one, and if you're here on day 18, most likely you are that one. You are the one who's seeking to get better, to make it stronger, to build more consistency in your life. By providing this knowledge, I know that I can still do that and do it more consistently now, because now I have all of this content ready, and I can say, oh, you're struggling with this part? Here, go to day 11. Oh, you're struggling with consistency. Go to day 18. And so that provides for me a consistent way to provide and serve in a way that is important to me, but that I no longer want to spend time and energy on. See the difference? So I'm looking for consistency in my life in other ways. And so I found that creating products creates that consistent. Now I have a base of peace that I can use forever for anyone who wants support and help. So when you're building consistency, the first thing you want to look for is, what are some things that can continue to serve the mission you're about without your time, energy, and effort? Now, in the beginning, It's all your time, energy, and effort, isn't it? Nobody else has the vision that you have. It's your vision. No one else really knows exactly how you want it done. So until you begin employing teams who start to work with you and get a sense of what you want, you're kind of doing it all, right? Especially if you're an entrepreneur. And if you have a team, you're still going to have to know how to do it all to be able to get your team to do what you really want. You need to be able to articulate that. So as you begin to build and create, you'll find that in the beginning, you're building and creating all of the pieces. But think long term. So you'll notice when you started this email strain that early on, because we're doing this in a live capacity, but creating it for you to have over time, in the early stages of your email development, you'll notice it doesn't say anything about the live in the emails themselves. But then there's a separate email in the activity emails. So every day you get an email that says, hey, here's day one. Today is day 18. Should be getting those emails from day 18 today, and found us here as a result. So when you get those emails, pay attention. You'll notice that they're giving you the content. That content, it could be April, it could be May, it could be June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. Doesn't matter. Those emails will be consistent. When you start, you're going to go through the 30 days just like everyone else. So the consistency of delivery of that is important to me. You probably got a separate email that said, hey, join me live. Now, the live is only true for this month while it's going. In fact, by the time most of you see this product, the lives are done. And so maybe I'm doing something else live, but not this. So when you see that, you're going to see that there's an email in there that says, hey, here's the link to my YouTube channel. Join me live daily at noon. So then I do that one time. I do consistently live daily at noon so that you can continue to join me. It doesn't take a lot of emails. And when I'm finished, and this is the part I want you guys to get, because consistency doesn't come just from doing a thing over and over and over. We think so, but it comes from doing that thing over and over and setting set points or places in our lives where that's going to kind of anchor, and then we get the value of that forever. And so there's an email that will disappear after the lives are finished. Anyone who registers and joins us after April 30th, which is the month that I'm doing this live for Financial Literacy Month, if you say join May 1st, then you're going to not see that email. All I have to do is take out one email that tells you when and where to be on the live. Now the string will run all 30 days for every individual who signs up, starting the day that you sign up. And it's evergreen, as they say. So it doesn't matter what day it is. Now, I talk about dates during the videos because number one, because it's live and because I can. But number two, because it doesn't matter when you watch this if you know that I recorded it previously. What matters is that you get the content. And I use showing you that I'm doing it live as a teaching point. So you can see that I'm building, I'm growing, I'm containing the work in a way that it will create consistency for me. Now, what we do with this product when we're done. So I want you to think about this. So consistency isn't just the behaviors. We already have a lesson on that, on habits and behaviors and connecting to your why so that you keep doing it. But what I want you to start thinking about now is, what systems can I set in place? In fact, that's going to be one of your questions on your worksheet today. As you know, now we've moved into a couple of prompts, things for you to think about, but it's more about you implementing and going out and doing than filling out the worksheets now. So a couple of question prompts. One will be for you to consider, what systems are you going to have in place so that your financial picture can be consistent? For example, are you going to have automated payments? All your bills get paid automatically from a certain account, and that particular account has all the money coming in that it needs to do that. So that's one way, is automating your finances. You're creating more consistency because you know your bills are going to automatically be paid first out of the income coming in. Another way, this is one of my favorites and most important, remember I told you to pay yourself first, is to set aside your X number of dollars, whether that's a percentage or a dollar amount or some other currency amount, and just be consistent. And so this is a piece I want to urge you. So consistency in your systems so that Your month kind of looks the same every month of what it takes to operate you. So think about, for those of you who are big into business but not doing so well in your finances, remember that your life is also a business and you are operating your life. So the operations of your life takes a few things. And one of those things to operate your life is the finances, right? To pay for it. So when you start to look at your life as an operating cycle and what does it take? What systems can I put in place so that my life operates smoothly so that I can be focused on other things rather than just being the operator of my life? And so those systems are what I'm asking you to examine here. Well, what are the systems that you're going to put in place so that you can have more consistency? What shifts or changes might you need to make? What are some areas where you are blowing it? Like, for example, maybe you're saving very well all month, and then, I don't know, once a month you get extra hungry that day, or you get in a mood, or something happens, and you just go crazy and spend $800 that day. You saved all month, $200 a week, and now you just went and blew $800. So that busts away your consistency. So it's not just about being consistent with your money. It's systems in place for that. And then also what kind of, where are you blowing it? And then what kind of parameters or helping points can you put in place where you find that you tend to be weak? For example, maybe you get really, really busy around the 12th to the 18th of every single month because clients and whatever. That's your busy time, and you tend to fall apart in all your financial planning. You eat out every day that week. If you start to pay attention. So the other thing is going back to the beginning of this course, when I start telling you to track and to notice and track and to notice, one of the other pieces of consistency is as you begin to track and you begin to notice, you're going to notice those days, and you can look at your bank statements a lot of times to find out. You're going to notice those days that you just didn't do what you had planned that day. You just didn't. And that's okay. And you're going to say, okay, well, that doesn't feel good to not reach my goals. And you're going to assess that against the goals that you have and get yourself back on track. And here is my final point for consistency. The number one and most important thing about consistency is, because none of us are perfect and none of us are likely to do perfectly the plan that we have, even if we already got the perfect plan, which also takes some time. It's very unlikely that we're going to be perfect all of the time in that plan. So this is the trick to consistency. Get back on the plan. It's that simple. You blew it for a few days. You weren't paying attention. Get back on the plan. You guys, I have been moving and transferring and transitioning and figuring out the where of my life for about a year. And it feels like I've been constantly moving for 12 months. And you know what? I almost have. I started moving in June and it's April. So I've been for 10 months kind of on the road here and there, settling in for a little while, but then moving again and just getting it right. There were some things that weren't quite there for my family and me, and we wanted to find out. And we tried California, and we traveled. And at the end of the day, I was ready to be home in Miami, and I found that. And then I, of course, made the shifts, and now my youngest son is here, and so our family is together here now. And we've hopefully made our last move and settled in. But here's what I want to tell you. During that year, some of my behaviors, I know what to do. I have systems. I have things in place. In fact, I semi-retired, so I must have done something right in the last few years. But what I really want you to understand is that I didn't do it perfectly. I didn't get here because I was perfect. I got here because every single time I went off course, did something differently than what I meant to do, or went off plan, or got lazy. For me, it's I get really busy or really stressed, and then I start eating out and not taking care of things at home, until, okay, stop and get back on course. So it's not about perfection. It's not about you just nailing it, but it's about you doing it day in and day out. And every time you catch yourself not doing it, oh, look at me not doing my plan. Well, that's not what I want. And you jump back on. It's that simple. The key to consistency is just keep going. In the words of Dory, for Finding Dory, those of you who know, I know you know, we got to have some fun around here, right? It's just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming. And what you're going to find is at some point, you're going to be swimming along, doing your thing, because you just keep swimming. You don't know how to do everything perfectly, but you just keep swimming. You're going to look behind you, and you're going to notice that you've been right on track with the life that you wanted to live. How cool is that? Until tomorrow, just keep swimming.